When a good man finally walks away, there comes a moment after a divorce that a woman never expects. She believes the hardest part is leaving. She believes the pain comes in the arguments, the tension, the separation, the signatures. She thinks freedom will feel like relief, like a fresh breath after years of emotional pressure. And for a while it does. She feels lighter. She feels admired again. She feels seen by the world in a way she hasn't felt in years. People tell her she made the right decision, that she deserves better, that she will find someone who matches her energy. And in that noise, she convinces herself she lost nothing important. But time has a way of stripping illusions. Slowly, quietly, without warning, reality begins to reveal what she never noticed before. She doesn't realize it immediately because regret never comes when life is loud. It arrives when everything grows silent. It starts with small realizations. She begins to remember the man who always fixed what she broke, who carried responsibilities she never even saw, who made sacrifices quietly because he believed it was his duty to protect the change she never expected life they shared. She remembers the stability she never respected, the loyalty she took for granted, the patience she used as a punching bag. She remembers the nights he stayed home while she pushed him away, the days he gave effort she dismissed, the moments he swallowed his pain just to keep peace. She remembers how he never stopped trying, even when she stopped appreciating, and suddenly she begins to see him with the clarity she never had before, not as a man who failed her, but as a man she failed. Regret deepens when she realizes he wasn't just a husband. He was her foundation. He was the reason her world functioned. He was the person who absorbed the storm she created. She realizes that the man she walked away from wasn't perfect, but he was loyal. He wasn't flawless, but he was steady. He wasn't extraordinary to the world, but he was extraordinary to her life. And she realizes this too late. The harsh truth hits her like a weight on her chest. She didn't just lose a relationship. She lost the only man who truly understood her. A man who would have protected her, supported her, and forgiven her far longer than she deserved. A man who would have stayed if why silence hurts her more than words she had given him even a fraction of the grace he gave her every day. And that's when the shock begins, because now she knows something she can't undo. Good men don't come back once their heart breaks quietly. Do you think most ex-wives realize what they lost too late? What's your experience? Regret doesn't attack loudly. It whispers at first. It shows up in small private moments she never prepares for. When she wakes up in a quiet house with no footsteps, approaching the kitchen, when she struggles with bills she never handled, when something breaks and there's no one to fix it, when her mood changes and no one notices, when exhaustion hits and no one asks if she's okay, she begins to realize just how much of the emotional burden he carried silently. She thought things just happened, but now she sees they happened because he was there making them happen. Then the dating world delivers the next shock. She enters believing she'll be valued instantly, believing men will appreciate her, pursue her, commit to her. But she discovers quickly that the world is different now. Men today don't invest easily. They don't fix emotional chaos. They don't offer stability without loyalty. They don't carry someone else's weight. Most men aren't looking for responsibility. They're looking for the regret she hides from everyone entertainment. They want fun, not partnership. They want attention, not effort. And suddenly she feels something she never expected. She misses the man who used to care too much. She begins noticing the difference between someone who wants her for a moment and someone who once wanted to build a life with her. She compares every new man to her ex-husband without admitting it. None of them are as patient. None are as understanding. None stay during difficult days. None love beyond convenience. And slowly she realizes the truth. Her husband wasn't boring. He was dependable. He wasn't weak. He was forgiving. He wasn't unromantic. He was loyal. The world outside does not offer men like him easily. The real regret begins when her excuses stop convincing her. She starts questioning herself in the quietest hours of the night. Did the first give up too fast? Was I blinded by temporary emotions? Did I ruin something that was good? Was the problem truly him, or was it me? These questions cut deeper than the divorce because they expose something she never wanted to face. Maybe she wasn't the victim. Maybe, when she realizes what she lost, he was. And when this truth hits her, the regret becomes heavier because she finally understands something older men learn painfully. A good man may break quietly, but when he leaves for good. Not out of hate, but out of self-respect. And she realizes she didn't just lose a marriage. She lost the only man who ever chose her completely. The moment that destroys her doesn't come early. It comes later when she sees something she never imagined possible. He becomes happier without her. She expected him to break. She expected him to fall apart. She expected him to regret losing her because during the marriage he cared more, apologized more, tried harder. She believed his world revolved around her, and she assumed it would collapse the moment she left. But she never understood men. They don't break publicly. They break quietly, and they rebuild even more quietly. She sees him smiling again. She sees him dressing better. She sees peace on his face she never saw during the marriage. He looks calmer, healthier, lighter, and this terrifies her because for the first time she realizes he wasn't the problem, the relationship was. She sees him, why your peace becomes your power, living a life without her, and something inside her cracks, because the man she once controlled emotionally now stands strong without needing anything from her. A man she expected to chase her doesn't chase. A man she expected to argue doesn't argue. A man she expected to plead doesn't plead. And his silence hurts her more than his words ever did. This is the moment indifference replaces anger. And indifference is fatal. Anger means he still feels something. Silence means she no longer exists emotionally in his world. She sees a version of him she always wanted. Confident, healed, mature, grounded. But this version was shaped by her absence, not her presence. She broke him, and in the process, she built a stronger version of him that she can no longer access. Then another shock hits her. Other people admire him now. Women respect him. Friends notice his transformation. His energy is attractive in a way it never was during the marriage because he no longer carries the weight of someone else's unhappiness. And she realizes this painful truth. He is becoming the man she always dreamed of, but he is becoming him for himself, not for her. The truth she admits only to herself. She expected him to wait, but he outgrew the man who tolerated her disrespect. She expected him to remain broken, but he rebuilt himself into someone she doesn't recognize. She expected him to regret losing her, but he regrets ever losing himself in the relationship. And this realization destroys her because deep inside, she whispers the sentence that crushes her pride completely. I didn't leave a toxic man. I left a good man. When regret evolves into pain, she begins to imagine reconciliation. She drafts messages in her head. She practices apologies. She replays moments of their marriage through a softer lens. She tells herself he might still care, that maybe there's still a chance. She tries reaching out indirectly. A small message, a memory shared, a social media eke. She waits for him to respond with the warmth he once gave so easily. But that version of him is gone. When he replies now, his tone is calm, distant, emotionally neutral. Not cruel, not bitter, just detached. And this scares her more than anger ever did. Because now she sees what she never saw before. She didn't just lose a partner, she lost what shocks her the most, access to a man who once loved her deeply. A man who used to be available at any moment now replies when he feels like it. A man who once apologized first, no longer bends. A man who once feared losing her now fears losing his peace. She realizes she no longer has emotional influence. She no longer affects him. She no longer shapes his mood. She no longer matters to his internal world. The real shock isn't that she wants him back. The real shock is discovering he doesn't want her anymore. Not because of pride, not because of revenge, but because he healed from the version of himself that tolerated her behavior. Healing didn't make him softer toward her. It made him see the truth. He wasn't unlovable. He was unappreciated. He wasn't hard to love. He was taken for granted. He didn't lose her. She lost him, and now he knows it. She finally accepts the harsh reality older men understand deeply. Once a good man has been broken and rebuilt, he never returns to the place that destroyed his peace. He may forgive, but he never reopens the door. He may be polite, but he will never be hers again. She wanted space. Now she has silence. She wanted freedom. Now she has loneliness. The final message every man needs to hear, wanted excitement. Now she has regret. And he, the man she assumed would always wait, has walked into a life she no longer belongs to. This is the moment that breaks her completely. Not when he left, not when she signed the papers, not when she slept alone, but when she finally realizes the truth she avoided for months. The man she thought she could replace was irreplaceable. And now he walks forward with peace,